Got our own personal parking garage. So there's an underground source of water somewhere. Could be flooded mines. Ooh, don't want to go and send it there. Where these utility poles are, there's something next to it hiding back there. Oh wait, there's something up here. You see that? May not look like it today, but this area at one time was home to both coal mining and railroad activity. And when I explored this area, I found several things, with this being one of them right here. And I knew that I wanted to return to this area to explore more of it to see what else I may find. If you're curious what I find today, all you need to do is come along with me. Now, if you haven't seen my previous original video of this location, I do encourage you to watch that first. Then come back to this one, because what we're going to see are some things that we did cover in that video on foot, but we're going to be on the lookout for some new things. But in that original video, I did share a bit more history and details about this area, and specifically the line that we're covering today. But just to tell you a couple quick things, is that what we just are riding on here is a section of a spur line for what is known as Northwest Junction. And this rail line was responsible for servicing the Northwest Colliery site in Simpson. It was part of the D&H Delaware and Hudson, which connected to the NY O&W, more commonly known as the O&W, which is New York, Ontario, and Western. So that junction is where the two lines met, which were responsible for servicing the colliery not too far from here. And what we're riding on, and what we're going to be riding on for a bit of time here, is a spur line, which was basically created to cross over the Lackawanna River. There is bridge abutments. And again, in that original video, I did show the bridge, what it looked like, where it's at. We documented that area on foot. And although we're not going to be showing that today, we are going to be retracing our steps, this time on e-bike, which is going to be a lot more efficient, allow us to cover a lot more area. Now behind me here is an abandoned coal mine. We found it, we kind of peered into it last time. There's also another one just a short ways down from here, which is smaller. The gate's not as big, it's a lower clearance. But someone I know was actually inside of here, and for what they told me and what I've seen, it doesn't go all that far, which is kind of baffling because they have a pretty massive gate system here. You would think that this goes for miles, but it goes less than, I think, 100 feet and just can't go any further. It is extremely wet in there. I do hear water falling down, and we'll bring you over to show you what it looks like in there from outside the gate. But obviously this area was heavily mined. It was also heavily used by the railroad for transporting the coal from those mines. And we also came across a few buildings last time, one of which I believe was the old powerhouse for either the or one of the colliery sites in the area, which we're going to return to today. I'll show you what's left of that. Although when I'm here now, everything is much more grown in. A little bit more difficult to see, but we're still going to be able to locate them, show you an updated look, and then explore more of the area, take some different trails, go through the modern wasteland, and see what else could be hiding out here. But come on over, let's take a look inside here. Now you already saw size comparison with me standing in front of it. So it's a good size opening here. And from what I was told, what the belief is that this was either exploratory, or they were trying to see if they could follow a vein of coal, or it could have been bootlegged after the mine company came here and realized, hey, there's nothing here. So it could have been one or two or both of those scenarios. And you could feel a little bit of coal there, but not a whole lot of airflow. But we'll go through the gate here. I just bumped you guys, sorry about that. And I do have my flashlight. All right, I'm gonna zoom in for you just a bit here. So I don't know, I'm looking through the camera lens, through the screen. I don't know if it's showing all the way to the back, but just beyond those couple stoles or timbers, it doesn't go any further. There's also not a ton of earth on top of this. This is built into like an embankment or a hillside, so it doesn't have a whole lot of earth on top, which is contributing for all the water flow, all the droplets of water trickling down through the rocks. You can obviously see there's some rock falls, there's some instability issues here. Some of the many stalls or timbers here. There is a small vein of coal right there, so I'm guessing maybe it wasn't big enough to be profitable, or it just pinched out to nothing back there. But I always thought about what it'd be like to go inside here, and now I don't even have a reason to, because I know it doesn't go anywhere, and someone's already been inside here and told me it's not even worth it. So just wanted to give you an updated look at that. And as I said, I want to return to explore more efficiently with an e-bike, and I brought the perfect mode of transportation. This I dubbed as Bigfoot. This is a dual motor, largest e-bike I've ever reviewed on my channel, and I think it'd be great for today's exploration because it's gonna be able to handle some steep rocky hills, big rocks, sticks, and it's a comfortable ride at that. So without wasting more time, let's get geared up and head down in that direction. So as mentioned, here's the smaller one. I did show this in my original video. It's nearly a fraction of the height of the other one. So not nearly as big. The gate is much smaller, and looks like more dangerous conditions in there, although it does go back further. And there's water coming out of both of them, which is now down here on the trail. But let's start moving. And I do apologize in advance. The one downfall of this bike that I have encountered is that when there's no weight on the front rack, it does make quite a bit of racket over bumps and bounces. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a way to alleviate that without mounting something on the front, which I didn't want to do to obstruct the view. So just pay no attention to the noise, enjoy the scenery and what we're gonna be checking out today. But we're now on the spur line, and if we keep going behind us, it would have hit a switch and a series of switches and almost like switchbacks, which would have brought it down to a lower level down to our right. And down there, they would have went straight out over the now D&H rail trail and crossed over the Lackawanna River to meet up with the O&W, Ontario and Western. So that's what was going on with this. And this line that we're on actually doesn't even show up on my rail guide app because it was just a spur line for servicing, I believe, one of the collieries here. When I explored this earlier this year, I didn't find any remnants of rails or ties or spikes, but we're clearly on a rail bed. And it's a nice shady area as well. Perfectly rideable as well, except for a couple rough areas, but overall it's relatively flat and smooth with just some soft coal and coal material. We're going to come to a clearing, and although you won't be able to see it, down to our right, down a steep embankment, is the D&H rail trail. So we're up above it, going around like a big loop, like a big horseshoe almost. Yeah, I can actually see the trail down to the right through the trees there. So we're kind of paralleling it right now, but then we're gonna be curving off away from it, heading away back towards the mining areas and the buildings that we found. As far as I know, between where we started and to where we're going right now, there's nothing significant that I found. So we're not going to bother stopping and snooping around. Just want to focus on a few key areas and then explore new territory that we haven't yet to discover what could possibly be back there. Went through a few cobwebs as well. That's always fun. And now the river is actually down to our right. It kind of curved under the D&H. And it's currently paralleling us right now, and then it's going to curve away as well. And we're going to have a big clearing on the right up here, which is what I call the modern wasteland, which is the big coal and silt piles left over from the old mining days. But before we do that, we're going to make a left not too much further up ahead to show you the old powerhouse and another structure that's back there. And then we're just going to explore random trails. And I did do a little bit of glancing on Google Earth, scanning back over the years, and there still might be another structure or two that we haven't found yet. So, gonna be on the lookout for that. All right, so here we are entering the modern wasteland. It's on our right-hand side, as you can tell, with the big mound of material. We're just gonna skirt along the bottom of it here. And there should be part of the trail going up and to the right. I'm sorry, up to the left. Oh, I do see a down tree up here. May have a roadblock. Okay. I'm gonna see if I could get it around this tree here, which I should be able to. And then we'll continue on. I think this will make it with these big tires. Yep, I call this Bigfoot for a reason. Down tree is no obstacle. Okay, so this is what I remember finding last time right here is a... Oh, what was that? Big hawk, I think. Some ties here, which are kind of pushed here. They're not in their original position. So what I did track last time, though, is that spur line, even though it doesn't look like it right now, did continue coming through this area and then curved off to the right. And there was I believe, a breaker or a colliery site back here. So the area has been revamped. It doesn't look like how it used to, but we did confirm it, though, on the map images in my original video. So here we are going to the left, as I mentioned. It opened up a bit, and although it was hard to see today, right over here to our left are some ruins. Well, this time I could pretty much drive right to them, so we're going to do that. There's a building up here I think we could drive right inside of. And I think this building was either an old pump building, like a water pump house, or could have been a maintenance shop. And it's right here in front of us. Got our own personal parking garage. Well, we got Bigfoot parked in our one bay garage here. Get some little protection from it, although there's plenty of ventilation in here and natural daylight because the roof is, well, it's lack thereof. It's a tin corrugated metal roof there. And it looks like some wood planks over there. The roof is more than half gone. I believe that's due to multiple fires. And we know that because obviously there's evidence of fire in here. There's steel belts here from tires, the black silt on the walls, some more tires, even burned a tire right on the rim right there. I mean, not that I'd like to see any place get destroyed, but it's not really getting destroyed. I mean, this is actually a relatively safe and good place to have a fire, especially if you're gonna have like a camp out, or you're cooking some food, or just hanging out with your friends having a few beers. It's actually a good area to have it because nothing can get damaged in here. It's all concrete walls. The roof is gone. You're protected from wind. It's not going to get out of control. So it's actually, in this case, a good place to have a fire like that. But as we come out, we're going to make our way over in this direction because there are several things hiding. And I did spray heavily for ticks and bugs because we have to walk through all this. So let me traverse through and we'll show you some highlights over there. So what we're looking at is the left side wall if we were facing the opening where we pulled in. And back here, there's some mounds of stone. And then when we come over here, we have some more significant stone walls. And I keep referring back to my original video because that's the best example that I have, is that when I was here and did research during post-editing, I was able to pull up the old mine maps and confirm that this was about 99% sure this was the boiler house. Not only because of the location on the mine map, but because of what we found inside here, because there's numerous chutes for where probably ashes were emptied out from the furnace above or something like that, but I don't know how exactly it operated, but we do know there's numerous chutes inside. So we're gonna get up top side. It is mostly exposed, but it wasn't back in the day. It was completely covered over, like we see that little section right there. So we do know it did look different when it was in its operational days. Oh, and almost slid down there. Don't want to do that prematurely. So we're standing on the covering right now. There's a little inset there. There's chutes beneath us here. And you just have to envision or imagine this was covered over back in the day. And I'm not going to bother going down there today just because we have seen it already. And we know what's down there. It's brick lined, some concrete, numerous chutes that had hatches on them for, you know, lifting it up and having the material come out. I think it was ash, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe it was coal for feeding the furnaces. Anyways, that's what's left of it now. There was a building over there, which showed up on the maps as like a breaker building. It's no longer there. It was removed a number of years ago, but everywhere you look here though, there's just pieces of coal and coal material, waste material, and then bricks. So we found this the first time. This is actually a bonus discovery when I was documenting the Northwest Junction line, and didn't know this was back here, except the spur line brought me right to it. Like I mentioned, visibility is a bit different now from earlier this year. So I think that's everything that's in this area. So we're gonna get back on Bigfoot, get back out here, explore the big wasteland area, and then there are numerous trails around here, some of which may just be looping, connecting trails, some may lead to something else. But I'm a curious individual. I like to know without assuming where they go or what's back there. So we're gonna find out. Most likely it's nothing, but you never know. There's always a small inkling that something else could be hiding back there. That's the whole reason we're here today, to see what we missed last time. So I think the first thing I want to do is explore the big wasteland area. That's the area that really got my attention last time, that brought me back here off the spur line. So we're gonna see if anything is in or around it, and then we'll branch off and do some of these other trails. So everything I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing for the very first time. This is unexplored territory for me. So I'm just gonna follow this main road here, which should take us up on top of the big mound of material. And I think there's like a small man-made lake back here too, in the lower section of the wasteland. And nature takes a really long time to reclaim these areas, although there are some trees. These are all new growth trees. This material is not really productive for growth. And there is a lake down there. So we're on the upper level right now, and it's a big slope here, probably close to 100 feet. And then there's a lower level down there, some other mounds of material. So I do want to get down there. I don't think I want to go this way though. It is really loose and I don't want to risk it. So we're gonna probably take the scenic route around. But this looks like a great riding area as well. Yeah, I'm curious to check out that body of water, see how clear it is. It looks like a utility pole down there too. So maybe there's something down there. Maybe there was something being used for the water, or like a pump house, or for like a wash area of the coal, who knows. But let's get down there and then we'll check it out from there. And in case you're wondering, it's another hot, humid day here in Pennsylvania. We're here middle of July, almost the middle of July. It's gonna be lower 90s, and humidity is gonna make it feel close to 100. Chance of thunderstorms later. do see some ribbon down here. Looks like this area was either surveyed or marked off for something. All right, here's another utility pole, which I don't think I saw this one from where I was up higher. It says, caution. What does this say? Something, shooting lane? Shooting range. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anyone here. Haven't seen or heard anyone. So we're just gonna proceed ahead. And here is that man-made lake, which is basically sitting in the bottom like of the coal bed here. Oh, it's actually water flowing into this. This is being fed. Let's see where that water is coming from. Now, I have seen these before, and these can be very deceptive because sometimes these could be flooded mine pits, and you know, it's just like a bottomless shaft going down. Other times they did have ponds on site for pumping water to the wash house. So without knowing for certain, I don't know how deep it is. I can see the bottom through my polarized glasses. It looks like it's only a few feet, but I don't know about the center of it, obviously. I wouldn't want to walk out there than drop into something. I'd probably rather go on kayak. But I'm curious where this water is coming from. All right, let's get on foot and trace this. There's water coming from somewhere. Okay, still following it. Oh, this is like nasty stuff here. This might be coming from underground. Let me go around. I don't want to step through this. That looks like nasty, stinky material. I was wondering if it was maybe AMD, acid mine drainage, but it's not bright orange. And I don't smell any sulfur. But who's to say it's not just a light source of it. Okay, so this water's coming out from underground. Basically right here. It's saturated here. But there's no real flow until you come down here. So it's coming from right there and right here. Makes you wonder. Now, this is not bright orange, but it does have a reddish color. So it could be mixing with iron. It could be not a heavy dose of AMD. But some of the rocks, well, I mean, yeah, I guess some of them are partially stained, but not significant. So there's an underground source of water somewhere. Could be flooded mines making their way to the surface. Could be tied into that pond right there. But that is interesting to me. I'm curious to see what the source of that would be. And I'm guessing it's not a natural spring source. I'm thinking it's from the caverns and tunnels and shafts that were made from the old mining days. So I think what I want to do is get back on the bike. We'll ride around the perimeter of this pond. And if we don't spot anything, then we'll head off in a different area. But there is actually something in the water up here I could see that I missed originally. May or may not come through on camera, but there is a rectangle block right here in front of us. And this water is fairly clear. Looks like it would get silted up really quickly though if you were to step in there. And I wouldn't go in this water to snorkel just because I don't know the source. If it is polluted AMD water, that's definitely not something I want to swim in or have going into my ears or anything like that. So, like I said, if I was to explore this body of water, it would be with my inflatable kayak. But that's the only thing I spotted so far. Let's get back on. We should be able to ride around nearly the entire thing and get some more visuals. Okay, up here now, I can see it's a bit deeper. And it's got like a bluish tinge to it. But I could see, looks like maybe a tire out there. So, looks like maybe 5 to 6 feet deep here. But I don't see anything dropping off, so far it doesn't look like a mine shaft. We're gonna come around this backside here. Take a peek right here. Again, I could see some things out there, so as far as I know, this is not a flooded shaft. It could be a filled-in shaft, but it's not currently an open shaft. And I'm getting things crawling on me, even though I sprayed. So, we don't know the source. Looks like it's been here a long time, according to Google Earth images, going back several years. May have even been here from the old mining days, or may have just developed on its own once the mining days stopped and the pumps were turned off. So, with that being said, let's continue on with our tour. Still got a lot more ground to cover. I do hear the Lackawanna River is right down below us to the right. And we got, let's see, let's go left still around this body of water here. And then we'll branch out, because otherwise I'm going to end up going aimlessly in different directions. There's a dumping of tires here. There's plenty of worn down areas. We know the area has been ridden on, so that's nothing new. Let's see, is there anything over here? Ooh, got some steeper hills here. Ooh, don't want to go and send it there. We'll end up in the water. So up here we're gonna get one final view. Yeah, I see another tire there. Yeah, it looks like at most 5 to 6 feet deep. I don't see anything moving as far as fish or turtles or snakes. So most likely it's not clean, healthy water. It just happens to be pretty clear. Well, that is quite the drop off. We are on a corner of a big cone pile, and you can see the D&H trails right there. The Lackawanna River is just below us. Looks like some little falls right there too. Now, this area does continue off to the left, but there's a lot more tree growth, and it looks like it does dissipate into woods. So I don't think there's anything worth going over there. That's really far away from anything else that would be back here as far as buildings and that water source. So I think if we are going to find anything, we're going to have to go the other direction. But I just wanted to show you, this is what it's like back here. And just to put things into perspective, let me turn around first so we don't go down this embankment. That would not be good, as the land is sliding out from underneath me here. So the only problem with these coal mountains is they're super soft. Okay. And we have another small body of water here. Fraction the size of the other one. This one looks like it just fills up from rainfall. And looks like maybe a few inches to a foot deep. Again, a slight small orange ring going around it. I don't see anything feeding this right now, but I think we could probably pass through it, so. There we go. Well, looks like I found the shooting range. Do see some more utility poles back here. These ones actually have wires on them. You know what? I almost missed it. You can't see it from here, but where these utility poles are, there's something next to it hiding back there. It's really thick and overgrown, but we're gonna go check that out. Let me park the bike. There's something there, man-made. So we were just on the other side of the poles that came around the other side here. There's no easy way in here, but I need to make my own way because there's definitely something back here. And from what I could see, it looks like a pit. And some dumping back here too. Roofing material. Oh, what is this? They have a pretty large concrete pit. You know what this reminds me of? with the platform missing is like a weigh station for trucks. I don't know if they're this long, and I never saw the underneath of one, but I know it's like a floating deck, and that when the trailer or truck goes on it, it has sensors to take the weight of it. That's what it looks like, but I could be completely off. But now it's just dumping grounds. There's a pet carrier, ceramic heater, remnants of a bed, which is just the springs there. You see there's concrete raised areas going across, and let's see, from end to end, I'd say maybe 8 or 9 feet across, and then from that end to this end, I'd say 50 to 60 feet long. Oh, actually looks like there might be something over here. If I could skate my way past. Yeah, there's a little inlet area here. Maybe it's not a scale. Maybe this is the foundation or basement of a building. Don't know what to make of it, but it's hiding back here. I almost didn't see it. I just happened to look through next to the power poles and saw concrete. And I'm like, that looks like something worth investigating. So glad we got to check it out. Unfortunately, nothing that we have solid answers to, but if you happen to recognize what that could be, by all means let me know. But we have more ground to cover, so I think, as far as I know, as I spin around, we cover this whole back area. The lake's down there, the lookout area, that far corner point where the river was, and we saw the D&H trail. We know the buildings, I should say building, which is the single bay garage as I call it, and the powerhouse are over there in that grouping of trees. But there's trails going off behind it and in that direction. So that's our next course of action. So far, so good, but I'm still holding out hope that we do find something else as far as another structure or something completely new that I had no idea existed back here, whether it be mining and or railroad related. Now, for those of you who might be curious about what I'm riding today, I do want to take a few minutes to share it with you. If you don't want to watch this portion of the video, just go to the timestamp on the screen and you'll be able to continue with today's adventure. But what I'm riding today is something I did do a dedicated review on my channel. This is known as the Birch Growler, as I dubbed it, Bigfoot. For obvious reasons, it's the largest bike I've ever reviewed or ridden. But it has a lot of great features and specs. I do want to share just a few of them with you. And if you haven't seen the original video covering everything about this bike, you'll find it linked down below in the description. But namely, this is known as a hunting bike according to the company. I call it an adventure bike because this is ready for adventure. It's got the big 26 by 4 inch wide fat tires, front and rear racks. My favorite feature, the torque sensor. It has a 48 volt, 25 amp hour battery, which does power front and rear 750 watt motors that do peak out at 1000 watts. You can ride this in single motor use, whether it be rear, front and rear at the same time, or auto, which gives you power when needed to both front and rear motors, which is what I use most of the time. Realistic range, you'll get about 50 to 60 miles, but it does depend on the size of the rider, the terrain, and how much you're actually pedaling the bike. I personally have gotten 40 miles with still battery remaining on auto use. So it's a very capable bike for a dual motor bike. Despite the battery not being the largest, it is power that gets distributed really well so it doesn't drain super quick. On top of that though, you got your electronic horn, big bright headlight. It does have turn signals on the rear, USB-C charging port underneath, which is great for charging your phone. You have lockout air suspension on the front, a nice comfortable suspension seat, and just a really comfortable seating position. You sit upright, you're not hunched over, you're not putting a lot of weight on your hands or palms, and having the torque sensor, as you know I love, because you can leave it in a higher pedal assist, say 5, and you could pedal either 8 miles an hour or up to 30 miles an hour, and you don't have to keep switching between gears or pedal assist modes. It also has a 9-gear shift system, hydraulic disc brakes. It does weigh in at just over 100 pounds, but it has a heavy payload capacity of 400 pounds. So if you're going to use this for hunting, camping, adventuring, and you want to carry gear, this bike's going to do it. There's only a couple of drawbacks I have discovered with this bike. Number one, you've already heard it in this video. It's the rattling, which it's not doing it right now, of course, but I can't find out what's causing it. There's nothing loose. I've gone over this whole bike, every nut and bolt, more than once. Everything's tight. It's annoying, but it's not a deal breaker, but it is noticeable, obviously. If you're riding on a smooth road, though, you don't hear it at all. The other drawback I had was that in order to switch the motor modes from front and rear, you have to come to a complete stop and go into a sub setting. I showed you how to do it in that original video, but most other e-bikes I reviewed, or even scooters that have dual motors, you could do it while you're riding or moving with just a single button, pressing it a specific number of times. So that I don't like. It is, you know, not frustrating, but it's a pain in the butt to have to come to a complete stop if you do want to switch. But that's why I do leave it in auto 99% of the time. It's able to handle almost everything in that mode. But the bike so far has been handling everything great. We went through a little bit of water, we climbed some steep hills, sticks, rocks, limbs, and I just have a really great time riding this bike. That's why I brought it today, to give you an update on it and to let you know that, you know, if you're coming to environments like this, or you're going into the remote wilderness and you need a big bike to carry a lot of gear and you want dual motors with a torque sensor, this bike has it. So if you want to get more information, there will be a link provided down below. Like I said, my original video covering everything on this bike will also be linked down below. But once again, thanks to Birch for sending out the growler to me, more commonly known as Bigfoot. I'm having a blast on it, and now it's time to get back with our adventure. Just to familiarize yourself, the buildings that we explored, the powerhouse and the single bay garage, are over there. So we're going to take this trail now, see where it takes us to. Low clearance. Oh wait, there's something up here. You see that? Right here on the left? It's a structure. I knew we'd find something else. That did not take long at all to find something else. We're only a few hundred yards away from the powerhouse and single bay garage. And right here along the trail is an older structure. Concrete, wood framed entryway. And I'm noticing it's also sloped, the roof. It's pitched at an angle. And it's a wider than usual frame there. I'll tell you what, from first glance, and I'm not saying it is, but from first glance, this looks like a covering or an entryway for a portal or an adit or a shaft. It just has that feel and look to it. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. But basically, it looks like more than just a building, but I'm pretty sure it is just a building. But let's check it out and see. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere, but it did give that appearance. So, piece of concrete laying there, broke off from right there. Do see pipe protruding through, which is filled with concrete. Again, framed with wood. There's actually a piece of pipe on it there. I wonder if that's for just structural support or if that served a purpose. There was a door on here with a pin going through, so that's like the hinge right there. One down there too. And it has more piping going through it. It's rebar. Well, it's piping served as rebar. It's hollow. It's rotted out, and that's the inside of the pipe. There's daylight right there. A little ventilation. Really small building. Based on its location, I haven't the slightest idea what it would be used for. Wonder if maybe it could have been like dynamite storage, but I don't know if it would have wood in there like that. Usually they have like non-flammable materials. But if you guys have any inkling as to what you think it was used for back in the day, by all means, As usual, I'd love to hear your input. But let's continue on. There could be more out here, but this is a nice little bonus find so far. It's like it's not a heavily used trail, but it is a trail. Almost looks like a small rail bed. Drops off on both sides of us slightly. Okay, we're gonna go up to the left here. Oh, I do see a clearing. Wow, that is quite the view. Holy crap. Look at that. Nothing but mountain in front of us. Valley down below. I do hear the river down there. The D&H, I think, is somewhere down there too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the mines that we saw, the gated mines, should be somewhere down below us. We're kind of in that general area, just above it right now. Man, what a gorgeous view. Look at that. What kind of animal is that from? Oh, it's pretty dry rotted. Okay, we're back out here. That little building is off to our left right there. We came in that way. Let's take this trail here, which is a bit soggy. Where are we at? Is this... I think we've been here before. This might be a loop. Let's see. Yep. The one bay garage is over there on the left. Okay, so we've been here. Let's go down this way here. Okay, so we're back at the base of the Wasteland. To the left is that down tree that we crossed over before. We came in this way here, but I think there's a chute or a trail going off to the left. We're gonna take that one because we haven't gone that way yet. So yeah, we know that this trail will take us, well, this trail is actually the spur line. This will take us back towards the mine portals that are gated. Okay, yep, that's the way we came. Let's go this way. And there's a lot of down trees. Okay, that one was no problem. I think this is gonna take us down maybe near the lake area. Yep. Okay, so we're behind that target shooting range site sign that we found earlier. And right down here should be the lake. Yep. Getting my bearings now with this land. Now, let's go to the far right here. We didn't do this yet. I do see possibly a trail going down to the right. And we have these little bunny hills right here. And it looks like another drop off. Yep, just as I suspected. There's the river. It slopes straight down right to it. So I don't think there's anything else really here for us to cover unless I haven't found it yet. So, you know what? I'm curious about going down there because it looks like a turnaround spot for climbing the hills, but it looks like maybe a trail going off into the woods there, which is take us down by the river. You know, we got a capable bike. Let's get down there and check that out. I'll see you down there. Okay, we were just on top of that hill. As promised, I said I'd see you down here. We're down here now, and there is this little tiny trail jetting off here. So a little tiny creek crossing here, and then the river there. Just to play it safe, I think we'll go down on foot. The bike can make it down. It's going to struggle making it up. There are some ledges here with tree roots and some big rocks. I know it's not going to do that. So we'll see if we can cross that on foot and just get a look at the river there. Nice little flowing stream. I think we could probably cross it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Scared the hell out of me of a frog. Not a huge deal if my feet get wet, but all right, we made it. Feet are dry. Yeah, this more or less looks like a little hangout spot. So this is the Lackawanna River. This is a nice area though. Water looks nice and clear. Now the Lackawanna River is not the most favored river around here. There are some areas that are not really clean, but north of Scranton, where we are, north and east of Scranton, water is pretty good. It's usually once you reach Scranton and down below that, when it flows into the Susquehanna, is where you have some sewer discharge and some AMD, but up here it's actually quite nice. I think what I want to do right now is get back on the bike, go back to some of the places we've been to, and see if I missed anything as far as any significant trails going off in different directions that we may have missed, or any type of ruins or buildings like the ones we found so far, that concrete pit and that concrete building. So we know there's stuff out here. It could be all of it. There could be more to find. Just so I don't bore you to death, I'm gonna do some exploring off camera. And if and when I do find something, I'll bring you right back aboard. If not, well, then I think we've probably covered everything. I just nearly missed the smallest of things. I just wrapped up talking to you guys right down there. Came up here to the bike, getting ready to get on it. And I looked over and just a small chunk of concrete, which looks like part of a wall. Looks like it could be its original position there. And I do see some water seeping out next to it, so not sure what that could have been, but it's definitely something. It's down here at the base of the cone pile there, and it's just above the little creek right here and the river. So nothing significant, but I do have to cover everything when I do come across it. So this is another finding back here that something was existing here back in the time, most likely for the mining company. Ended up coming back here for a little nature's air conditioning. Although there's not really any airflow, you can still feel the coolness from underground. So off camera, I pretty much explored more of the surrounding area, retraced some of the paths and areas that we went, and went off a couple of different trails that basically led to nothing or just connected with other trails we were already on. So I think I feel confident in saying that we covered nearly everything that there is to see out here. Obviously, we know mining activity took place. We found buildings from the mining colliery site, including the pump house, the one bay garage, and what I'm calling the dynamite shack. The open concrete pit, I don't know what to make of that other than maybe a scale back in the day. Maybe we'll get confirmation of that through the comments section, but I'm glad I returned, and I'm glad I brought Bigfoot with me because, let's see, we did, all said and done, from when we started to now, just under 8 miles. Can you imagine walking all that on foot, how long it would take? Although I'm a few hours into this, this saved me a heck of a lot of work. And I'm not worn out where I can't keep on exploring the rest of the day. So it's even cooler though, knowing that we were riding on a spur line, a part of Northwest Junction here, which was part of the D&H and O&W, which was across the river. Those of you who know me know I love things related to mining history and railroad history, and this location has both. So I'm a really happy guy, extremely fortunate to find this location and to be able to document it and share it with all of you. So thank you once again, all of you, for coming along for this adventure, for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and spending a little bit of time with me enjoying what I love doing, is documenting and exploring places like this. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching again. And like always, I'll see you in the next video.